are over separating mixtures, and this should be review from the work that you've been doing as far as the activities. So separation process depends on the substances in the mixture having different physical properties. So based on their differences in physical properties, we can separate out the different mixtures or the different components of the mixture. Okay, so one of the ways that we can separate things is through filtration. So it's a technique that separates based on particle size difference. Okay, so you can use things like a sieve or a filter. So like if we were trying to get, let's say, shells out of sand that we had, we could use a sieve and shake it back and forth. The sand particles, because they're smaller, would fall through the sieve, and then the shells would be left behind. So that is a filtration system. Okay, density, we just took notes on density and we talked about how liquids that have different or that do not dissolve on each other and have different densities can create a density column. Okay, so that's one way for like liquids to be separated. But then also if we have a thing like a colloid where the solute is suspended in the liquid, we can use a centrifuge. And so you guys saw the demonstration of the centrifuge working. So if we had like milk in a centrifuge and spun it, it would separate out into the skim and the fatty particles. For chromatography, this uses the different affinities of substances to different tools, such as paper or to the liquid being used. Okay, so if we're using paper chromatography, a drop of the mixture is dropped near the base of the porous paper. Okay, so things like coffee filters, they're pretty porous paper, and it's just about above the liquid line. So if we look here, we have our mixture, and then it is just above the liquid line. So the substances that have high affinity for the liquid will absorb up the paper more quickly. Okay, so we have the mixture here. The liquid is going to move up the porous paper. Okay, so as the liquid moves up, if the certain substance in the mixture has a high affinity or is attracted to the liquid, it's going to follow along right along with the level of the liquid, such as substance 3 did here. Okay, substances that have a higher affinity for the paper, meaning that they're more likely to stick towards the paper, they are going to not move up the paper as quickly. So like substance 2 or substance 1. Substance 1 didn't move at all. So it wasn't very attracted to the liquid, it was more attracted to the paper. So this method separates substance by how attracted they are to either the paper or whatever tool that you're using or the liquid being used. Moving on to distillation, this is separating out a mixture based on the different boiling points of the substances held within. So the substances with the lower boiling point will vaporize first and then can recondense into the liquid state as it goes through the condenser. So here we have the distillation set up. Okay, so we have our mixture in here. In this case, it is a liquid and then a solid because we have water and salts. Okay, so as we boil it off, the water has a lower boiling point than salts would. And so as the temperature rises, the water will start to vaporize. It will come through up this tube and then through the condenser. This is where generally cool water is going through here, or there's cool air, so that it recondenses back into its liquid state so that we can separate it out. So then once this all boils off or evaporates out, we'll be left with the salts, and then over here we would have the water.